Happy Sunday, everyone! I hope everyone is doing amazing well. Welcome to Money to episode 3 of season 2. So, today we have Karen Volckaerts, and she'll be here from Antwerp, Belgium, and she'll be talking about really what it's been like to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So imagine you are at the airport and actually a terrorism bomb attack happens. What would you do? What transformation, life change can actually happen in your life? So she's going to be here talking to us about that, the experience she had, and also about two violent relationships she had, what was like for her to be in a violent relationship. So I'm going to just to find out who is here now watching. Tell me hello, say hello to me, where you're watching this money from. It would be nice as well to bring Karen into our camera. So we're going to give a few minutes as well for her to say hello to me. I know I've got a few people watching here. Say hi. And guess what? The sun is shining here in London, and I hope it's shining wherever you guys are today. It's a beautiful day here in London, and the world is open up. So hopefully everything is coming for the best, and we all safe. I can see now Eve, you here. Hi to from London to Canada. I can see Tanya as well. Hello, Portugal. You're watching Money as well. Hi to you guys. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to come. And I want Karen as well, if you're watching this as well, to say hello to me, to be able to bring you into the camera. So we have a very good inspiration story for you today. So let me just now give you a few minutes here to see if I can connect with Karen to bring into my camera. Wait a few more minutes. I can see you now, Karen. Amazing. Let me see if now we'll be able to bring into the camera. I'm sure we. Let's wait. It's connecting.
Yes,
Hello.
hello. Goedemiddag.
Hello. Happy day. Happy day. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good.
Good, all is good. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. Okay, it's really brilliant, and we can't wait actually for us to tell us. First of all, what have you been doing really during this period in terms of keeping your mind, your body healthy during this pandemic, really? Can you share some of the things you've been doing?
Well, first of all, I think like everybody was doing, taking a lot of long walks in nature.
I am
Uh,
definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I think a lot of people have been doing this, discovering new places around my own house,
That's
since I'm
good.
very much abroad. So now I was really forced to, well, discover places closer by. Let's put it like that.
Absolutely.
Um,
Well, it's wonderful, isn't it? Giving some time for yourself.
Absolutely. And I've done a lot of reading too. So,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good. So, what personality traits would best describe you, really, for our audience to know a little bit more about you?
Um, Very, very honestly, I'm HSP, so highly sensitive. So, in a
Hmm.
way, I am very much an introvert. Yet, the moment I do feel comfortable with people, I'm quite an extrovert.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people, the first time they meet me, they go like, "Huh? But you're easygoing and easy making connections with people." Um, yes, uh, but I think that's also because I'm very open-minded, and I
Hmm.
really like to get deep connections with people. Um, but when it comes to telling the more personal things, which I'm going to do today, obviously,
Yeah. Hmm.
that for me mostly takes a little bit more time.
Mm.
But further on, I'm very a relaxed personality, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. I agree that definitely. So you worked in corporate world in human resources, right? For 10
Yeah.
years, right? And what actually did you like most about it, during that time?
The connection with the people. I really, really love having time for myself and spending time with myself. But I truly love to bring out the best in people and to really, make them connect with their potential and their true self, and trying to find that connection between the CEOs and the people that are working in a company. That to me was always very important. Not always the easiest one, but yes. Yeah.
I'm sure. So now I know that you've been involved in two very traumatic relationships, and you are very happy to tell us about more about your story and showing how you have actually overcome some of your fears. So I'm really interested to know, and our audience as well today, really, to tell us more about that.
Well, let's say, as you already said, I've faced a few adversities in life, a few what you could call traumatic events. On the other hand, I have a very innate resilience or emotional grit, as they would call it. So I'm going to pick out like the most significant bad one. Let's call it like that. That was a relationship that only was about a year and a few months, and started as really him being that that hero, that knight on the white horse, as you would call it. But it quickly took another turn, since he was very manipulative. And that is something that I only realized a little bit too late. And of course, afterwards, when you're out of the relationship, you start to realize a lot of things that didn't make sense. But at that moment, because you're emotionally involved, and because although you know that certain things are not actually not right, you do feel it. Your intuition says, like, there are things that are not right, certainly not when there is violence involved, when people start to get psychosis and they work it out on you. But since you're emotionally involved and you want to try to help those people, it makes it very difficult to snap out of it again, because you're already too far in it. And at a certain point, like psychopaths, they can really twist things around and make you feel as if they are very much the victim of life. And they start twisting your words or your actions, that in the end you even start to doubt yourself.
Can you give us an example, Karen? Can you give us an example? Because for the people as well that will be watching us as well today, can you give us an example about being in that situation that you didn't know anything about it, actually that person had this problem, and you were just like going into that and believing that an example happened to you?
One thing that struck me very hard, because that also shows that they're very intelligent people. At a certain point, my ex-partner, he came up with a story that he had a very rare illness, and that was the reason that he got this psychosis and things like that. And I talked to a friend of mine who is a doctor. I talked to him about it, and at a certain point he was like, yeah, Karen, I find it very strange, because this is a very rare disease and it mostly happens with children. But the amount of details he knew about all this really makes you go around like, okay, am I going crazy? And is he like making all of this up, or what is going on here? And pretending that he had to go to appointments with specialists, and then when the violence kicked in, like, no, but it's also because of the disease, and things like that. To be honest, or once, and that was actually I faced, at a certain point, I said, like, I've seen every corner of my house in a bad way, but the worst moment was that he really started to threaten me, and on my bed, he grabbed a rope and he really tried to choke me with the rope, and I really fought for my life. and then they give you the impression that you have been driving them so far. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they pretend they want to really take care of you, and they're gonna be good to you. And then it's like, oh, but I'm sorry. And also when at a certain point when we were in hospital and they wanted to keep me there, at a certain point you are at such a level that although you know that you're an intelligent woman, you have all these degrees, you have your own house, you build everything yourself, you have a decent job, that you really start to think that you go crazy. But
Yeah,
luckily,
definitely.
I got out of that. And then he started to stalk me still for a year and a half. So it has been.
How did you come out of that? How did you come out of that relationship? How many years you were together?
It was very short. Luckily, I realized it, well, quickly enough. It's never quickly enough because things happened. But it was about a year and a few months that we were together, that I managed, because he came to live with me at a certain point, that I managed to, well, with police and everything, to get him out. But then it was also still the stalking, and that is something very, I mean, I'm not somebody who's easily scared, but just because everything that happened, it took me a few months, well, even over a year, to be able to walk alone on the streets anymore. Even the things that happened inside my house, because then there came burglary, there was like a lot of other things attacking on the streets. So yeah, it took me a few good years, to be honest, to really come back to myself. Let's put it like that. Not the fear or anything, but to really realign with myself again. I'm going to call it that. Yeah.
So what would you say to people actually watching this now and perhaps are struggling and maybe in a situation like yours? What would you say to them? What words of encouragement can you tell them? What can you say?
Don't be ashamed, and talk about it and ask help, because the moment you are emotionally involved, you often do not see clearly anymore. And also one thing, and that it's something that I have learned the hard way, and it's really one of my, yeah, how do you say it in English? My life definitions or something. I
Yes,
mean,
yeah,
I'm a coach, and I only will help people who want to help themselves. And that is something that our innate nature is to want to help people. But you have to realize that you can only help people who realize themselves that they need help and who really want to help themselves first too. That is
absolutely.
super, super important.
Absolutely. So people can actually overcome the situation where they are in now, whatever situation you are going through, but only if you really want to come out of that situation. So for that, seek help, right? This is what you're saying, really, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. So I know as well that in 2016, Brussels really was the target of a terrorist attack, right? And I know you were at the airport. So tell us more what actually happened to you, what the situation, everything. Just tell us more.
Well, I was I was about to travel for a month. I had a big backpack with me, and I was at the check-in to check in my luggage, like standing there. I just put my passport on the deck. The boy or the young man who was doing the check-in, he went to get like one of these big boxes to put my backpack in.
Right.
And the moment he was walking back towards me and the desk,
Right.
there was a huge explosion. And I saw it, it was really like in the movies. I saw him flying with his arms and legs open like 2 meters to the back. And the only thing I could do immediately was like dig down and seek for, well, shelter. I did like this. And strangely enough, my first idea was there is a gas explosion. But then, because I don't remember if it was the same year or the year before that the attacks at Bataclan were.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then instantly I shifted my thoughts and I was like, I saw people full of blood and clothes ripped off. And I was like, okay, this is not good. I need to lay down and I need to get out of here because they're about to shoot and they're going to shoot us all down. Then all of a sudden I shifted my mind.
Oh my God.
And I managed to get out. But then, yeah, the whole other story started. Because I was trying to help people.
How did you
console
feel?
people.
How did you feel that time? Did you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to die? What was in your thoughts at the time?
Apparently,
Oh, we lost Karen here for a while, so apologies for that. Hope.
I think I'm back.
Yes. Yes, you're back. No problem at all. So sorry. So we were just really talking about the feelings what feelings you were actually having at the time when you were at the airport when that bomb attack happened to you.
Mhm. Well, the first thing I did was calling home, and apparently, I don't remember, but apparently I told my mom, there's just a war starting. And then my mom was like, yeah, make sure you get out of there. And I was like, yeah, but I cannot. And then my first mind was like, I need to help the people. And then, yeah, I helped people. I was sending messages to people who were getting back to me. So actually, it was after that first shock, I think I went very rational and going on until at a certain moment, I almost collapsed myself. And then they brought me where a lot of victims were. And then the second part of the day started because then the police came running at us like, make sure you look for shelter now, because they're going to start to shoot. So
Oh my
I
goodness.
remember that I was running over that the people who were lying next to me in the ambulance cars, that they were still trying to get up to run away. There was a Colombian man who was hiding with me behind the car. He was screaming because he was in so much pain and his skin was coming off. That's a few things that I
Wow.
do remember, which was I still start to shake when I talk about this because
Oh,
it's
I'm sure. Can
you'll
imagine.
never forget this kind of events, I
Tragedy,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're okay. And I think the most beautiful thing we want to talk about as well now is what actually has this affected in your life. How did you actually see it being in the wrong place, the wrong time, but actually change your life completely? So tell us more now about the bright side of that story.
Well, in a few things happened because only a few days later or a week later, I realized through talking with one of the investigating officers where I actually was standing, and then I saw that the bomb exploded straight 4 to 5 meters behind me. And everybody told me, like, it's a miracle that you're still alive, that you didn't have anything, because it was as if somebody put like a protective layer over me. When I look at everybody being either dead or injured that was around me, that was one thing that really made me start to think about life. Sadly enough, the same week, the grandmother, who I have like an amazing connection with, she got into hospital. She passed away 2 weeks later. And although I've had a lot of grief, I cried a lot for it. In one way or another, it also liberated me. And it's yeah, I think I've suffered with a lot of survival guilt for a long time, but I also realized after doing the work myself, because because I still remember saying that 2016 would be my year, my big year, like with a happy face, like, yeah, it's going to happen. And in the end, it was a good year because I really was forced to really to start peeling down all the conditioning from society and really connect with myself, what I wanted out of life. And I also decided to really step out of my golden cage, as I called it, because I had this good job, I was earning good money, I had a company car, but I also wasn't really happy with what I'm doing with what I was doing, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I realized there was so much more potential within me, and I wasn't able to get where I wanted in that company. So it gave me the opportunity, I really have to be grateful for that, to start a deep search within myself, and to really look for what I wanted out of life. Also the fact that I'm a very, very avid traveler. And I don't mean like taking an airplane and go to a resort, but really connect with people in a company and in a country. Talk to them, discover different cultures, different visions. But I always also stayed in Belgium for my grandmother. So in another way, that also was a relief. I know it sounds very strange to say like her passing away was a relief, but after the deep, deep grieving was over, I realized like, look, she's always going to be with me, no matter where I am. And yes, I've cried when I heard a song or when I was like, oh, I really want to give her a hug. But then I remember like, no, she's here. She's here. She's just here. And she's giving me advice from wherever her presence is.
Wow. That's wonderful. And it's something that you actually have to learn and develop yourself and look and search for things that actually could help yourself, like you're saying, right? And today, do you still actually have fears sometimes? Do you think that what you're doing now when some fears comes into your mind, and what type of things you can actually share with our audience that could help them as well?
I have learned very much. I was already spiritual, to put it like that. And with that, I mean, like, I was very interested in Taoism, in ancient wisdom, and breath work has really helped me a lot. And I've learned more and more and more about that. And that is something that we as human beings, certainly in the Western world, have forgotten, that it's not only this is only 10%. The rest of our body is equally important. And we have different brains, and we should really listen to what our body is telling us. And breathing, like really starting from the bottom, from your root chakra to your belly, to your heart, and finding that pace, it really calms me down when I'm scared. And knowing that only the first step is important. We tend to and I'm still sometimes, we tend to overthink, and we create scenarios in our head. Or but what if this, what if that? No, you just need to be able to take that first step in faith, and the rest, it's a way of surrendering, taking action, but also surrendering. And even though you're not going immediately in the direction that you have envisioned, to really embrace the detours, because they're also meaning something.
Definitely. So who has helped you? Definitely. So who has helped you the most? All of this you can tell about that was important to you. Do you want to share anyone specific that actually helped you in this journey? A friend or a family member, anything that was important to you?
I'm really surrounded by very good friends, so that is
There's lots of different friends.
Very much. I love them deeply. Absolutely. But on the other hand, I had to do the work, and it's really me, and I've really learned to go easier on myself too, and treat myself as my best friend.
It's not easy, Karen. It's not
It's
easy to treat ourselves as the best friend and to be actually feeling those feelings and say, I'll be okay, right? It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. But then I was just in a training a few days ago, and actually, I heard a very nice example that I sometimes use too. You have to look at yourself. I mean, when we're playing with babies or with toddlers, they fall down, they get up again, they fall down, they get up again, and they keep smiling.
They do.
And even if something happens to them, you're like, oh, okay, come get up again and try again. And we should treat ourselves like that more often.
Absolutely. Definitely. As our best friends, because we are our best friends, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
nobody's going to do
Karen.
it for us. We have to do it. So we have to treat ourselves good and our own body good. And then
Absolutely.
we are also able to give more of ourselves to other people. But it has to
Absolutely.
start here. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, I could stay here all afternoon talking to you, but I know that we need just to wrap up. But before then, can you just leave us like 3 takeaways to our audience today from your talk, what you want to leave to them?
Well, what we just talked about, like first of all, fill your own cup and be your own best friend. Go gentle on yourself. Like really, be gentle. Um, don't look too much at what other people are doing, um, and try to breathe and connect with yourself, with your intuition, without letting your head walking away with you. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, I think that are two, and like life is a journey, and you are the leader of your life, and that is very important to know. You can always take a different path, no matter how old you are, no matter what's going on. It's up to you.
Thank you so much, Karen, for the beautiful message you left today, for sharing your amazing inspiration story with us. It's not easy, so we're grateful and thank you so much for that. So, guys, please leave any questions if you do have for Karen in your comments box because Karen, our money team, will get back to you. Thank you again for being here with us today. It's always a pleasure to see you all. Thank you, Karen, for everything. And I see you in 2 weeks' time again with another guest from another country. We might actually go to Russian next in 2 weeks' time, so who knows? So, guys, have a blessed Sunday and stay well and safe. Karen, thank you so much and all
Thank
the
you for
best. Enjoy your
having
Sunday. Thank
me.
you. Bye.
Bye.